I like it when a plan comes together. Yeah, everything's working for a change, just like the first time this week. I am Marshal Manlove from Delaware Sports and My Sports Reports, coming to you live from the home studio in Middletown, Delaware. This is an interview segment of our show, and I am going to introduce to you shortly our guest for today. He is Mike Wagner, a long-time basketball coach, an administrator, and he is involved with the Blue-Gold basketball game, and that's what we're going to talk about here today. We'll talk about anything that he wants to talk about, though. He's a good guy, important guy to our state and athletics here in Delaware. And hopefully when I press this button, my guest will appear. There he is, Mike Wagner. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining me here today. Let's just test.
Marshall,
make sure
thank you for having me.
All right, you are working, that is for sure. Okay, here we go. So let's start with learning a little bit more about you. Talk about your involvement in basketball here in Delaware over the last 30 years or so.
So I played high school basketball in Western Pennsylvania for a school called Beaver Falls High School, and when I was a senior in high school, I was able to play in the Dapper Dan Round Ball Classic, which was one of the premier All-Star games in the country. And I didn't play in the main game. I played in the warm-up act, the Western Pennsylvania All-Star game. And then after our game was the U.S. East game and the U.S. West game in the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. And then I went to college, and I played at Loyola University in Baltimore. When I came to Delaware after I graduated, early retirement hit, and I became a teacher and JV basketball coach at Cesar Rodney High School in Camden, Delaware. And I have been involved in basketball basketball or athletic administration in some level for the past 30 years in Delaware. So the first player I ever coached was a gentleman by the name of LaRon Profit, who later went on to the University of Maryland and went into the NBA and was a Blue-Gold All-Star. And from there, I coached JV for 6 years at Cesar Rodney. I was a varsity coach for 2 years. Then I assisted at Wesley for 3 years. I went down to Lake Forest, was the basketball coach for 4 years. While I was the basketball coach, I was also the athletic director. I did the athletic director for 10 years. During that time, I was able to gain some leadership skills. I'd like to thank my mentor, Jerry Cabasa, for that. He got me involved in leadership in the Hell Open Conference and in the DIAA. And after I stopped being the athletic director, I became the executive director of the Delaware Association of Athletic Directors, and I've run some middle school sporting events over the past 4 years. I've run the largest interscholastic middle school cross-country invitational in the state. And I also run probably the largest, and I say interscholastic because it's through the high schools and middle schools. I run the largest interscholastic middle school tournament at the end of the volleyball season for our middle school teams. And it's not really a state championship. It's just a large tournament at the end of the year where kids get to compete, and we do have winners. And throughout my 30 years, I've been involved in the All-Star game at various levels. And unfortunately, for the past 2 years, due to COVID-19, we were unable to have the All-Star game, and we're bringing it back this year for the first time in 2 years. But the game goes back well over 40 or 50 years with the Delaware Interscholastic Basketball Coaches Association. They used to run the game, and then Mort Kimmel picked up the game and made it the Blue-Gold game. And when Mort passed away, his son Larry took it over, and that has run its course. Larry Kimmel's done a great job, and he's been a supporter of us taking the event over. He said, well, you guys take it over. It's kind of run its course for me, and he did a great job, and I want to thank him. And he's still one of our sponsors. And now the game is back in the hands of the Delaware Interscholastic Basketball Coaches Association, and I assembled a committee. I'm the treasurer of that organization, and I assembled a committee of several people who've done a great job. And the game's back on this year, this Saturday, March 19th, Dover High School. The girls' game begins at noon, and the boys' game is to follow around 2 p.m. or shortly after.
You're good at this interview thing. Make my job very easy. I think you answered most of my questions already. So, oh, that's fantastic. So you can see why you're an important member of the athletic community here in Delaware. There's no doubt about that. It takes special people to organize a lot of these events, market them, promote them, make them run successfully. I am aware of your middle school volleyball tournament because I refed that for a while. It is a lot of fun actually, and that's a great event too. So, as a member of the Delaware Interscholastic Basketball Coaches Association, tell me a little bit about the all girls boys and north team, girls and boys north and south teams that you folks choose. How do you go about choosing it? Who's involved, etc.?
So that is done by the Coaches Association, and our president, Mike Sanford, has done it for years. And it's a really tough job because it depends on everyone's participation. You have to be a member of the Coach Association. You have to be a paid member in order to vote, and you actually have to nominate, and then coaches vote for the players. So there's a nomination process that takes place in January, and the coaches nominate players, the ballots are assembled, and then the coaches vote on the players, and it's a straight ballot vote. And after that, the players are selected, and we all, we have some kind of rules. If there's a player who does something inappropriate at the end of the season, they get into an altercation at school, or they get kicked off the team, if we find out about it, we remove their all-star status and replace them with another player. That has not happened this year, so we're excited to have have the game. And one of the things we instituted this year is we instituted an organizational day, which is this past Sunday, where we did our preliminary 3-point contest for the girls and slam dunk competition for the boys. We handed out uniforms. We had a light practice. We did photo opportunities. We had a photographer come in and take action shots and team pictures and individual shots. And then, so we have our finalists for the day. I'm not going to reveal that right now because I don't have that page open. We had 3 practices scheduled for this week. So each coach was able to get their gyms. We got gyms for each of the coaches. I'd like to thank the coaches because a lot of them found their own gyms for us, and they had 3 days to practice because we want the game to be fun for the players. We want it to be organized, and we want the players to, as I told the players Sunday, this is your last chance to play in interscholastic high school basketball. So there is a distinction between, what we do in interscholastic basketball versus what they do in AAU and club. And I'm not going to say that one is better or worse than the other. It's just different. Interscholastic athletics has a great feel to it because it's in the high schools. The players, they represent themselves, they represent their families, they represent their teams, but they also represent their high school and their community. So it's a good thing that our players come out, and we want to have as special as atmosphere as we can, and so we're all ready to go for Saturday.
So how are people going to need to be prepared to go watch that game? Are there any restrictions left? People have to mask, anything like that?
No, luckily, there are no restrictions left over. So we selected the site. Site selection is tough because we don't deal with we start from zero. So we were able to raise a little bit of money with corporate sponsorships, and we were able to raise some money with ticket sales. And we'd like to have a little bit of money at the end of the game so that we can give away to our sponsors. So Dover High School graciously donated their facility. They have one of the nicest facilities for indoor sports, not only in high schools but in the state. Mm-hmm. And they seat a couple thousand people, so there's going to be plenty of room. The tickets, the girls' game is at noon. The boys' game, is shortly after 2 p.m. The tickets are $10, and some people say, well, boy, that's a really high ticket. Well, you get 2 all-star games, and the proceeds go to benefit part of the proceeds will go to benefit the American Cancer Society, and part of the proceeds will benefit the Delaware Interscholastic Basketball Coaches Association. Our acronym is DIPCA, our scholarship fund. And over the past 15 years, we've run a small scholarship program, and we've given well over $30,000 out in scholarships to a variety of boys and girls Delaware basketball players over the last 15 years. We award 4 scholarships each year. And the hope is that as we continue to rebuild this game from our 2-year hiatus, the hope is that we get more corporate sponsorships, more fans at the game, and we're able to expand the scholarship program so that we can give more money to our candidates who apply and who are successful in that selection process.
I don't apologize for the ticket price. That's nothing anymore. It's like 2 gallons of gas or something like that, I think. So as a fan of basketball, a coach, a player, an administrator, what went right with the basketball season this past year?
Well, just the fact that we're playing basketball. Listen, anytime you have sports at any level, I love interscholastic athletics because it gives, it doesn't cost you anything to play. I mean, it costs you a little bit for a pair of shoes, or it might cost you a little bit to buy a sweatshirt for your team. But interscholastic athletics is, for a large part, it's free. It costs players their time and their sweat and their hustle and their tears, and that's a lot, but it doesn't dig into your pocket a whole lot. And I think that it benefits all high school students of all backgrounds. And without interscholastic sports, I mean, there are some kids that maybe can't get on these club teams because of the money, and I think interscholastic sports plays an important role in America, and we have to be strong when we defend interscholastic athletics.
What would you like to see changed or improved, specifically with basketball here in Delaware?
If you're asking for my opinion, I'll give you my opinion. My opinion differs my opinion is not necessarily the opinion of the Coaches Association, but my opinion, coaching at 3 different levels. I coached at Cesar Rodney, one of the biggest high schools in state, Lake Forest High School, which was a middle-sized school of 950 kids, and I coached JV for the first 2 years at First State Military Academy, so I coached a really small upstart charter school. I would like to see a multiple division tournament like they have and Delaware used to be a 2-division state with football, track, wrestling. And there were a number of sports cross country that had 2 divisions, and there were a number of sports that just had 1 division. And I would like to see a multiple division tournament, at least 2 or 3 divisions. We can't go any more than that because we're such a small state. But that's my personal opinion. Now, listen, on the flip side, there are a lot of coaches who still like the 1 tournament because there's only 2 states left in the country that have 1 state champion. I believe it's Delaware and Kentucky. But I think that when you see the multiple tier format, like when soccer went to 2 divisions, no one's complaining about having 2 state champions. When field hockey went to 2 divisions, no one's complaining about having 2 state champions. And I grew up in Western PA where we had 4 levels of competition. So I'm a multi-level proponent, but again, I still respect that a lot of the coaches love the tradition, the fact that, hey, there's only 1 state champion in Delaware, and we're one of the last states to have that. So that's a big thing, and it's really an opinion. And if changes want to be made, it'll be made at the will of the schools who are members of DIAA.
And just to throw my opinion in there, because I talk to athletic associations all around the country, and you have some states, 6, 7, 8, and that's fine. But I think if you're going to have that many, maybe have a tournament of champions or something like that. And
and I believe Rhode Island does that. I'm not familiar with Rhode Island. They have their divisions, but then at the end they compete. In one, or they did it at one time. I'm not sure if they still do that. And in Delaware, high school track is a little bit like that because after the Division I and Division II state championships, they have what's called the Meet of Champions.
Right.
So, if we think broadways, we kind of already do that in one sport.
The thing with the, because I was covering sports whole lot more closely when they started the Meet of Champions in track. The thing with that was a little different though, if because you see times and distances already, you kind of already know. So it's a little different that way. It's not like you have Division One, Division Two field hockey now. Del Mar and Cape have been champions for the last 4 or 5 years or so, and unless they happen to play each other during the course of the regular season as well. But if you don't, then you don't really have an idea like who's the best team in the state. Where in track you have an idea. If somebody high jumped 7 feet, he's he could be in Division 16. Doesn't matter if he's jumping 7 feet. He's the champ. I mean, how you going to beat that at that point, right? So. That's just my opinion. You know what? It's just fun to watch everybody compete. Everybody works very hard. We'd like to just get more people involved in one way or another, whether it's just a voluntary basis, working a concession stand, people coaching. At any kind of level, and you've coached them from CYO all the way up, and it's thankless work, refereeing, anything of the sort, just to help out, and also I like how you promote what you do to try to get people in the stands to watch, because I think we need to get out of our faces out of phones and computer monitors and go out and do stuff. And like root for the people in our community. We have such a small state. Everybody knows each other pretty much. Let's get out and root for them and have some fun.
And you never know who you're going to see. I mean, I was really fortunate. Our Bones Highland is a rookie in the NBA, and he plays for the Denver Nuggets. And I got to see Bones play in my last trip to Denver, and I had a really good seat, so we could yell down. But he was a member of the Blue-Gold All-Star team, so you never know who you're going to see and where they're going to go. I believe there's currently two women and 2 men who are in the NBA right now, who were Blue-Gold All-Stars. They may not have played in the game, but they were recognized as Blue-Gold All-Stars. Elena Deladon, Bones Highland, for example. Again, you never know who you're going to see. And, I had 2 significant players I had several players from Lake play in the All-Star game, and they went on and to be, good citizens and good people and have nice careers in the professional world. I had, a couple players from Caesar Rodney who, Janava Witherspoon, who was the leading scorer in the state for 2 years, who went on to, went to a prep school. He then went to a junior college in Texas for 2 years, and then played at Oklahoma State and played in an actual Final Four, and then played professional basketball in Poland. So you never know, who you're going to watch in high school. And that was one of the exciting things about the Slam Dunk at the Beach. Oh, we got to see LeBron James and whatnot. But you know what? Delaware has some good high school basketball. We have some good players that you may see at the next level, at the collegiate level, and then who knows beyond that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the exciting thing, that you can go to a game and in a couple of years, those people you might see at another level. And I think that's the exciting thing. We also want to build the fan base. And again, there just wasn't enough time this season. We formed a new committee, and I'd be, if I didn't mention our committee members, we had Chris McLean, the head boys basketball coach at Conrad. We had Stephanie Scott, who's currently the assistant coach at Polytech. She's also on the DIA State Tournament Committee. She was a longtime coach for mine at Lake Forest. I also got Teddy Morris involved, and she was my principal at Lake Forest High School. She also coached for me, and then she became the principal. And we also have Lisa Lancaster, Dr. Lisa Lancaster, who is an educator at Del Tech. So what we did was we formed a committee of people who have been a part of high school athletics at different levels, and they have different abilities. And the nice thing about that is the All-Star game's at the end of a long season, and coaches are physically and mentally tired at the end of the season. So we took a group of people to organize a game so that they didn't have to worry about the details. They just had to nominate their players and vote for their players, and we'll put the game on, and at the end of the season, the committee will come together and say, okay, we made a little bit of money. We're going to give this much to the American Cancer Society, this much to the scholarship fund, and hopefully, and maybe we'll put a little money away for next year's game, and try and improve on it. Because there's two things that I'd like to do. I'd like to build a fan base of, I'd like to, and that Marshall, building a fan base doesn't happen overnight, and it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
And when you started reffing the middle school tournament, we started with 7 teams,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got up to 22 teams within 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes good people that work for you to promote the event. And the same thing with the Blue Gold game. I would really love to start promoting the game as heavily as we can at our interscholastic middle schools. And I would love to find a way to get all our middle school players invited to the game and come to the game with their parents and build a fan base that way.
Mm-hmm.
I would also like to build our corporate sponsorships and use it like, 40 years ago, I used to go to events with my father where the company would buy a corporate sponsorship package, and then they would give the tickets to some of their workers who wanted to come to the game with their families and enjoy a game of basketball. And then I'd like to expand the game. I would like to. I have a connection with someone in Pennsylvania. I'd like to bring down the high school athletes from Philadelphia and have a Philadelphia All-Stars versus the Delaware All-Stars, and actually have 4 games. So we'd have, the top 10 female players play a team from an interscholastic team from this Philadelphia school district. I would really like to see something like that happen, and the top 10 boys basketball players play against an all-star team from the city of Philadelphia, kind of have a Philadelphia Delaware connection. And then the remaining 20 all-stars would divide up into the north-south game for both the boys and the girls. So we could have a girls preliminary game, and then the girls showcase, and then we could have a boys preliminary game and a boys showcase game. And maybe we do that in one long day or over a Friday night and a Saturday night or something. But the goal is to continue to build the game and make it exciting that fans want to come and watch. But that's my long-term goals, and hopefully in the future we can make something like that happen.
I'll tell you what, it is really refreshing to see somebody who has been around for a while, still motivated and coming up with ideas to do things and promote the sport and the people involved. I think that's fantastic. We need more people like you. There's no doubt about that. I don't know if you left any blanks out there, but if you did, if there are any missing pieces to fill in there before we say goodbye, I'm happy to let you.
Well, I guess one thing we did not get to have a banquet this year, and we'll debate whether we should have a banquet in the future or not. With COVID, when we started planning back in January, like, should we have a banquet or not? And we said, let's do away with the banquet for this year. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's exciting. We don't have to wear masks. Fans can come to the game. They can sit next to each other. But we're going to have a senior style day. We're going to give the players their plaques. So we're going to have a brief ceremony before each game where we announce all the players. Hopefully their stats, their parents will join them. We'll hand them their plaque, and we'll do a little bit of a senior day for them, just to have one last special send-off for our Blue Gold All-Stars. So again, and also the other thing is we've expanded the game, so we're going to have 12-minute quarters, and we want everyone. So as I told the players the other night, a high school basketball game is 32 minutes. Half of a high school basketball game is 16 minutes. So when we have 15 all-stars per team, playing time is a premium. We wanted to set up a system where we wanted to keep the game moving, but we also want to make sure that our players have the opportunity to at least play 16 minutes, which is half of a high school game.
Yeah, great. Good idea. Fantastic idea. No doubt about that. All right, sir. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come talk to me and let everybody know who does watch this particular broadcast some more details about the event coming up on Saturday, the Blue-Gold All-Star Game for basketball players here in Delaware. Mike, it is good to see you. I will see you come volleyball season, I imagine,
Yep.
And best of luck to you at this game on Saturday. Go ahead.
One last plug. You can get your
Sure.
tickets through Ticketspicket, www.ticketspicket.com. The keyword is DIBCA, D-I-B-C-A. The keyword is Dipka. And if you, for some reason, have problems purchasing your tickets electronically, we will let you pay at the gate. So hope to see everyone at Dover High School between noon and 5 p.m. this Saturday.
All right. Fantastic. All right, Mike.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and best of luck, and have fun this coming Saturday.
Thank you for having me, and a great show.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Take care. All right. Whoa. So that was Mike Wagner. As you can see, his name's still up on the screen there. Now mine's gone. Some more user error. What is going on with this whole thing, man? I'll tell you. All right, so let's do this. You can freeze the video here, and then you would be able to see the list of players from the Gold boys and girls team here. If you freeze it there, you can read some of those, and you can find them at delawaresports.com. And please, if you would like a funny, fascinating, interesting show, one that you will remember for a very long time, consider my comedy hypnosis show. You can find out all about that at marshalmanlove.com. Man, I need a producer. I really need a producer. What is going on with that, bro? All right. Yeah, let's just do that. All right. So, hey, man, these interviews are easy when people are motivated and passionate about what they do. Don't have to pull any teeth here, man. Good interview from Mike Wagner, a very important member of the amateur athletic community here in Delaware. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am Marshal Manlove. Now, dinner time. Yeah, we did this one a little late. Not lunchtime. Had lunch. That's why I'm smiling. A little satisfied. But now, it's dinner time, baby.